StraightallDay.com.
Dre Baldwin, workonyourgameuniversity.com. Topic of this video is Kamala Harris black? This is what we're going to address in this video. I do not have a definitive, as of this recording, I don't have a definitive answer, yes or no, to the question. However, I want to address the fact that a lot of people who seem to be supporters of Kamala, or they just hate Donald Trump, or they have just bought into the racial idolatry of you should never question anything that a black person does, says, or represents. They have a problem with people even asking the question. I'm going to address that here in this video. So first of all, let's start with the deflection. The deflection of this is, why do you even care? Another deflection is, well, I'm voting for her because I'm not going to vote for Trump. Another deflection is, why are you obsessed with where she's from? Those are some of the common deflections, and some of you who are watching this video, you are guilty of using these deflections. And yes, they are deflections. Why are these deflections? First of all, if I, for example, was to come out and tell you that my background is as a pro athlete and I played for the Lakers and the Knicks, even if you're the biggest fan of me in the world, all right, you could be my biggest fan, but if you are a big fan and watcher of the NBA and you know that you had never heard my name before, and if I had been on the Lakers or the Knicks, you probably would know about it, because like basketball is only like, what, 12 people on a roster, so you probably recognize the name of somebody who played in the NBA if you're a big follower of the NBA. I say I played for the Lakers and the Knicks and you never even heard of me, especially if you're a Laker fan or a Knicks fan. You're like, wait a minute, dude, I never even heard of you. Even if you were on the end of the bench, I would have knew your name. What are you talking about? You play for the Lakers and the Knicks? You would dig into that and start asking questions to find out if I'm telling you the truth, right? Now, does that make you obsessed with me? Should I be able to deflect and say, and you asked me, Dre, what year were you on the Knicks? Because I am a Knicks fan, I'm from New York, and I never heard of you before. And I said, well, why do you even care? Like, you care because, mofo, you put it out there and said that you play for the Lakers and the Knicks. That doesn't make you obsessed. It doesn't mean you're doing something wrong by asking the question. It just means I made a claim and you are verifying my claim. If someone makes a claim, then it can get verified. Secondly, Kamala Harris is running for president of the United States. It's not like she's, selling Girl Scout cookies, or she's some random girl on OnlyFans. She's running for president of the United States, which is the #1 biggest job you can have in the United States of America. Everyone knows who you are. You become highly recognizable. Any claim that you make, people are going to track down that claim and see if it's real. You're going to be vetted. Those of you who don't know how politics works, when someone is going to be, let's say, president, vice president, they're running for senator, they're running for any kind of federal office, the party that they're running on the ticket of, Republican, Democrat, let's just say those two, the people who work in those parties will go and vet you. In other words, they can dig as deep as they need to into your background, into your past, into your history, into whatever you've ever posted on social media, to the softball team you played on when you were in 5th grade. They will dig into all of that. Any person you've ever known, come across, dated, shook hands with, argued with, had a fist fight with in 8th grade, they will find out about it and they will vet you, and they will decide, is there anything in this person's past that is shaky, questionable, might come up later that could get used against them / us, that will cause us to say maybe we can't move forward with this individual. They do all of that when they're vetting a candidate. So I'm saying all that to say that the Democratic Party, being that Kamala is coming out as a Democrat, they do this kind of stuff with every candidate. And perhaps they decided that whatever she was saying about her background was acceptable and good enough, or maybe it wouldn't matter that much to a certain population, because this is Kamala. She's running against Donald Trump, who many of you who are watching this, you probably already, some of you who are already on the side I'm voting for anyway, because I wouldn't vote for Trump. Maybe you have already got enough negative ideas about Donald Trump that doesn't even matter anything about Kamala. You're going to vote for her anyway because she's coming out and claiming black. If a person claims black, all right, if you claim black, then people can question that. If you claim black and her only connection, let's move on to my next point. Kamala's only connection to being black is that her mom is Indian, right? And that her dad is Jamaican. That's the claim, right? That her dad is Jamaican. Now, what makes this whole thing fishy, because Candace Owens is a person many of you probably heard of. Candace Owens, a black woman, but is well known for being staunchly conservative, highly or solidly on the right, whatever you want to call that, solidly on the right, staunchly conservative. married to a white man. She is the one who is doing this deep dive investigation into Kamala's background and just digging in and finding out, is she actually black? Let's find out. First of all, this is a legitimate question. I already explained to you why it's a legitimate question. Some people, another deflection people are using is attacking Candace Owens. Because Candace Owens is, well, Candace Owens is married to a white man. Candace Owens is MAGA. Candace Owens is conservative. Candace Owens, she hates black people. Even if you believe any of those things, whether they're true or your opinion, none of that matters, because the point is we're addressing Kamala's background, not Candace's background. So the person who is doing the investigating has no bearing on the actual investigation unless it's somehow tainting what they're doing, which I've seen what Candace has said so far is not, because she's giving you what she's finding. She's giving you the findings that she's coming up with. I'm not even going to call them, if we could call them facts technically, but it's not really about facts these days, it's about truth. Because facts, you can handpick facts. You can pick and choose facts and tell any story that you want. But the truth is what we're trying to get to. So moving further into this, Candace is digging into Kamala's background. What makes it questionable to me, ever since Kamala came out and was picked by Joe Biden to be the vice president, when Joe Biden said, I'm going to pick a black woman to be my vice president. Joe Biden announced that when he was running for president. He said, I'm going to pick a black woman as my vice president. I didn't like that he said that from the very beginning, not because I have anything against black people or females or black females, but because why would Joe Biden as president pick his vice president just based on immutable characteristics like her being a woman and her being black? What does that have to do with her ability to govern the country? It has absolutely nothing to do with it. He was playing identity politics. That's what he was doing. And I understand identity politics is a thing, it's a real thing, but doesn't mean it's a good thing. Just like rape is a real thing, doesn't mean it's a good thing. So I probably shouldn't have said that and put this video out. But anyway, Kamala running as a black person. Her connection to blackness is that her dad is allegedly Jamaican. Her dad is alive. And she's been, allegedly, according to the story, estranged from her dad since her childhood. But he's alive. And if she's running for president, I'm sure he knows about it, right? They couldn't dig this guy up from somewhere and get him to just come out and make some type of statement like, yeah, here's who I am. I am the father. I am the father. My background is ABC, whatever it is. Because there are other people who have come out and said, hey, I met this guy, and his background is he's actually Indian and Irish. He is not Jamaican. The family was in Jamaica, and they owned slaves in Jamaica, but whether they are actually Jamaican is a different story, and that's the thing that Candace Owens is trying to get to the bottom of. And again, if it's true that Kamala actually is Jamaican, part Jamaican, let's say a quarter Jamaican, I guess, if the dad is either Jamaican completely, or if he's half Jamaican, whatever, then check the box. She's black, boom, done, over. I have nothing else to say about it. We accept that she's black. But if it comes out that the pops is Indian and Irish and not Jamaican at all, he doesn't have a drop of Jamaican in him, just going off the two parents, then no, she's not black. And that's something that needs to be said. Now, there are some black people who are listening to this very video right now, and you're like, I'm going to vote for Kamala regardless of what the findings are. It's completely fine. That doesn't make you wrong. It doesn't make you wrong or right. It doesn't make me wrong or right. But getting to the bottom line of something, getting to the bottom of something, and getting to the truth is what journalism is all about. And journalists, the job of the journalist is to get to the bottom of things and find out what is actually true. Whether you agree with them trying to get to the truth or not, that is their job. The question is not whether or not you agree. The question is it their job? Candace is doing investigative journalism to get to the bottom of this truth of this person claiming that she's black. Secondly, if there are other people out there, black people, they are maybe not as, actually I would think there actually is a significant amount of black people. I can't say what percentages, because not all of them are using the internet and definitely not talking loudly about it on the internet. But there is a legion of black people who have been questioning Kamala's heritage from the very beginning, before Candace Owens even started digging into it. And they've been saying, yo, she's not black. Or there are people saying she's not, as they say, FBA or ADOS. And I don't know if those are the same group or they're warring groups, whatever. But those people are saying, well, black only counts if you can trace your lineage back to slavery in the United States. I personally do not 100% agree with that. That black is black, because black slavery, there were black slaves in South America and in the Caribbean, not just in the United States of America, and that does not what's the word? It does not discredit your blackness if your lineage goes back to the Caribbean or South America as opposed to just the United States of America. However, I understand that there's more detail to that, and I understand the argument of the FBA and the ADOS people, but those folks, I'm bringing them up to say this. They have been questioning Kamala's heritage from the very beginning. When she first came out, even back when she was still in the primary for the Democratic ticket back in the 2020 race, and she dropped out before the primaries even got there because her campaign was going so disastrously, and she wasn't able to even leverage her quote-unquote blackness to make anything happen. I remember specifically her being on the Breakfast Club. Somehow my video got cut off. She was on the Breakfast Club, and the Breakfast Club was the audience of the Breakfast Club. We know the Breakfast Club has a very black audience, largely black audience. They were trashing Kamala. Like, they didn't believe her, they didn't trust her, they didn't like her, and it was clear she wasn't even going to be able to carry the black vote in that primary for the 2020 election. And that's why she ended up dropping out. She couldn't even get black voters. And then it was interesting that Joe Biden said, I'm going to put her in as my VP, which she didn't. Of course, she didn't have to win an election to do that. And then when Joe Biden got yanked out of the 2024 campaign, and I hope none of you is naive enough to think that he decided to drop out. He didn't decide to drop out. He got yanked out of it because after that disastrous debate against Trump in the early summer, or the middle of the summer, early summer, the Democratic powers that be said this guy can't win, and Trump's going to win easily if we leave Biden in there. They yanked Biden out, and Biden immediately went and said, I'm supporting Kamala to be the next person. Because what the Democratic Party was, going to do, and there are people, insiders who follow this stuff, they know this. Democratic Party was going to have an open primary. They were going to have an open primary, and let's see who wins it to get the votes. But because Joe Biden, he kind of maneuvered on them. He said, I'm supporting Kamala. So then everybody accepted the lie. Oh, it's Kamala. So she basically had a shoe-in to be the nominee, even though Kamala has yet to win a single primary vote. She didn't win any in 2020, and she didn't win any in 2024. But here she is on the cusp of down to the final two against Donald Trump. Kamala has not won a vote because she hasn't been able to carry the black vote very strongly. But there are many black people out there who, again, have been so radicalized against Trump or so radicalized to idolize your own skin color that you're going to vote for Kamala regardless. And I don't even think it doesn't make you a bad person. All right, that's the way you want to think. Is the way you want to think. Everybody gets their own vote. Everyone has their own vote. Everyone gets to have their own opinion, their own reason for voting how they want to, or no reason at all. All that said, there are black people out there who are questioning, is she actually black? And there are black people out there who, if they find out, wait a minute, the whole time she's been campaigning to black people, forget about everybody else. Kamala Harris, just like Barack Obama, has campaigned to black people that one of the reasons you should vote for me is because I'm black. Did that work with Barack Obama? Absolutely it worked with Obama. I voted for Obama twice. And Kamala is running the same play. I don't think it's going to work as strongly with Kamala as it did for Obama, because first of all, Obama was a much better orator than Kamala Harris is. Barack Obama has actually won votes, unlike Kamala Harris. And Barack Obama he carried himself more in a more presidential style than Kamala Harris does. And Barack Obama is a very good speaker. And winning elections is a public speaking competition. It's how good are you at public speaking and influencing people with your speech. Kamala is not very good at that. She's not. Now, again, there's only her and Trump. So even if you think she's not, your alternative is Trump. And if you hate Trump, then you're not going to vote for Trump. But Kamala is not very good at this. Compared to Obama, Obama was light years ahead of her in terms of these skills, where Kamala is, again, which is why Obama was able to win elections. Kamala has not won any, not in terms of the presidency. Obama had to go to war and he won. And he beat Hillary Clinton, who was supposed to be the next person in line in the Democratic Party in 2008, won again in 2012, pushed Hillary all the way back to 2016. And then Hillary, of course, got her ass handed to her by Donald Trump in 2016. So the whole point of this here is it is logical and reasonable and should happen to question, is Kamala actually black? Let's find out. Why is the dog not barking? The dog is her dad. Why won't he just come out and say, hey, this is my daughter. I am this. I am Jamaican. I am that. He could just come out and say it. It'd be over. It wouldn't have even been a conversation. The fact that he's not saying anything, it's a red flag. And Candace Owens is digging into that, and there's no reason why she shouldn't. And if you don't have a logical reason as to why she shouldn't, other than, well, I'm voting for Trump anyway, that's not a logical reason. It's, oh, well, Candace Owens hates black people. That's not a logical reason. Attacking Candace in any other way, not a logical reason. Why are you obsessed with this? Not a logical reason either. Nobody has a logical reason why this shouldn't be tracked down and questioned. Because again, if it ends up being true that Kamala is actually black, then this all go away and it'll be over. But it seems like a lot of people are pushing back against the investigation before the investigation even happens, because you might be a little bit wary of what might get found out. But again, if you ain't got nothing to hide, then it doesn't matter how much investigating people do. If I tell you I go to the gym 6 days a week, and I've been doing so for the last like 20 years, so I do as much investigating as you want. I don't care what you investigate, where you go, who you ask. Everything that I told you, my story's going to check out. Why? Because I'm telling you the truth. Now, see, if somebody's telling you a lie, that's when they start getting mad because you're investigating. So what side are you on? All that said, folks, workonyourgameuniversity.com. You want to work with me directly so you can learn how to formulate your arguments and make your points, regardless of what you're talking about, whether it's politics, business, fitness, sports, anything in between, to build your business and get your name out there, because you need the communication skills to get your point across to your audience. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Link down below in the description. Work on your game. Dre all day.